Hey y'all, we are back with more Dream Date by Sinclair Smith. Okay, let's put Oreo Jr. back here where it's safe. Maybe he'll have a dream with something hot in it. And let me give y'all a quick little recap just so we all caught up. We got Katie. She's new to a city, honey. She's new to a school. Katie's turning 17. Things did not go the way she thought being a teenager. And so Katie is just looking up at the stars and saying, Lord Jesus, please send me a man like a Tyler Perry play. Okay. That's where we're starting here. She goes to sleep one night and she meets Heath Granger. And he is everything she's been asking and hoping and wishing upon a star for, like a Tyler Perry movie. Okay.
Wow.
So let's keep going with Katie. Now don't forget, and oh, by the way, Heath is sleazy, he's predatory, but he's sexy, so we discard everything, period. Okay, let's keep going with the story.
Okay.
Chapter 5, y'all, period. Come on, Katie. You're going to be late for school. Katie jumped bolt upright in her bed as her father's voice came crashing into her sleep. She jumped again when she saw the time. 7:15. How weird. She couldn't remember a time in her life where she slept until 7:15, even after the worst bout of insomnia. As she threw on her robe, she was already padding into the bathroom. It's no wonder I overslept. She couldn't help thinking as she smiled at herself in the mirror. What a guy. What a dream. Too bad it went away so quickly. A few more dreams like that, and I bet I wouldn't have trouble sleeping anymore.
Oh,
Katie laughed at her own joke. Ha ha ha. She couldn't get over how refreshed she felt this morning and how especially wide awake. As Katie washed her face, she hummed a little song she heard on the radio. Probably Rock With Me by Freddie Jackson. Oreo Jr. has been listening to that a lot. Anyway, a happy rockin' tune. It continued to play in her head as she finished brushing her teeth. Wow, even toothpaste tastes better today. And then went back to her room to dress. Most mornings, Katie dressed with her mind on autopilot. She had enough tailored skirts and shirts so that she could practically get dressed in the dark and everything would come out all right. As usual, she pulled her hair back and fastened it behind her neck with a plain brown clip. Suddenly, the hand holding the clip stopped in midair. Beautiful hair, beautiful girl. She remembered how Heath had looked at her when she said that, how he touched her hair. She hesitated. I've never worn my hair loose before, except to go to sleep. Why not? She knew the answer to that one. I'm afraid I'd feel silly. It's not like the femme fatale type. But then, what type am I? The quiet, serious type? Not today, Katie said aloud. Feeling almost daring, she put down the hair clip and shook out her pale golden hair. Then she scrunched it with her fingers to make the curls stand out. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. I'm Katie today, y'all. I look good. She stared into the mirror. She looked quite different than she did with her hair pulled back severely. Katie felt different today, too. It was only then that she noticed a tiny blue box wrapped in blue paper on her dresser with a card that said, Happy birthday, Katie. Happy birthday, Katie, girl. From mom and dad. She undid the wrapping and pulled a tiny gold chain with a pendant from the box. Funny, I almost forgot it was my birthday, she said to herself as she put it on. Katie admired the necklace in the mirror, wondering what she could wear that would set it off. She remembered the vivid blue sweater dress that her aunt had given her some time ago. Katie had thanked her aunt and put it in the closet and out of her mind. She had thought the dress was just not me. But today, it was her. At school, things were different too. Oh. Hey, hey, hey. Who's this here? Can it be Katie Shaw? Where you been hiding yourself, girl? A guy gave a low whistle as he passed Katie in the hall. Yes, girl, look, this how I look. It was Freddie Tappan, known as Ready Freddie. Hey, he was a class clown and a class flirt rolled into one. Katie knew, but he'd never flirted with me before. I guess I couldn't hide from you any longer, Freddie, she said with a wink. Scott. Yeah. I'm brave, Katie. Freddie winked back. Okay, girl, yes, Katie girl, I see you, Katie. I can't believe I'm flirting with a guy. Katie practically clapped her hands with delight. Not that I'm worried about impressing Brady Freddie anyway, Katie said to herself, surprised at the confidence she had. But there was someone else she wanted, someone she took seriously. Jason Miller. Walking down the hallway, coming towards her, she took a breath. Hi, Jason. Jason stopped to look at her and almost did a double take. Uh-oh, he was like, whoa, what's that? Boom, baby. He looked so surprised that Katie almost bust out laughing. Well, hi, Katie. You look terrific. Is that a new dress or something? Or something. I just haven't worn it before. Well, I'm glad you did. Want me to walk you to homeroom? Boom, y'all. You bet I do. Thought you'd never ask, Katie was shouting inside. Her heart was pounding. But all she did was nod slightly and smile. Sure. As the day went on, she was more and more convinced that it was the most unusual day of her life. People who had never noticed her before spoke to her. Katie answered them back without having to search painfully for words, as she often did. Questions, comments, even snappy comebacks came into her mind as if by magic. It got easier and easier. What happened, she wondered. Something is definitely different, and it couldn't just be because my hair and my dress. It's also incredible that I should probably pinch myself to see if I was dreaming. Something made Katie rein in that thought as it ran through her mind. She turned it over and examined it carefully. Dreaming. 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 That's it. The dream. He said he'd help me find myself. Katie blushed. How could I think such a thing? She never admitted to anyone that such a silly thought had entered her mind. Yet, no matter how silly it seemed when Katie thought about it, what she felt was that she had to see Heath again. She had to. That's why she hurried home from school that day. Her mother, who had come home from work early, heard Katie say something she never said before. I'm going to take a nap. You're what? You heard me right. I said I'm going to take a nap. This girl desperate. He got her fiending. He got you fiending, girl. Chapter 6. It wasn't working. For the first time Katie had ever tried to take a nap, she couldn't even get to sleep at all, let alone have a dream. After spending 20 minutes staring at the clock and staring at the ceiling, she gave up and went downstairs. Her mother was curled up on the couch, so absorbed in the book she was reading that she didn't hear a thing as Katie tiptoed over and peered at the title. Love's Raging Passion, Katie read aloud. Hey, I like some of that. Oh, her mother gasped as she looked up with the expression of mingled surprise and guilt. Is anybody else thinking to themselves, like, girl, this is what happens when you pretend to have a boring life with your husband? And what you really want is some love's raging passion. Okay. This is what happens. She closed the book and tucked it under a sofa pillow in one quick motion. You shouldn't sneak up on people, she snapped. Sorry, Katie shrugged. She thought her mom looked like a little kid caught reading a dirty magazine. Girl, in that house it is. But we gotta stay the course. What was the big deal about a love story anyway? It looked more interesting than the stuff her mother usually read. Magazines full of recipes and budget tips or books about gardening. Girl, your mama needs to read 50 Shades of Grey. I heard that book spicy. Girl, you looking for a little romance? Anyway. It's just as well you came downstairs, Katie, because when you said you were going to take a nap, I was afraid you were sick. Katie smiled and shook her head. How come you're home from work so early? I stopped by to check on our vacation reservations and drop off a check to the travel agency. Just a quick pause for the cause here. I don't know who grew up in what time frame, but back in the 80s, 90s, honey, you didn't just get on Expedia. There was no Expedia. Hell, there wasn't even the internet. You had to go through a travel agency to go plan your trip. Be lucky. Y'all can do it yourselves now. So just a little quick time reference here, historical reference, if you will. But let's get back to it. And who out there remembers that? Put it in the comment section. Scott, you remember when you had to go to a travel agency?
I mean, I don't think I ever went to a travel agency, but
Scott, just play along.
okay. Yeah, I remember. The whole family went.
Yeah. We ain't gonna invite Scott for much longer, but let's keep going. Once I find my dream lover. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, y'all. Katie's mom sighed. Your father and I are long overdue for a vacation, you know? Katie nodded. Eureka. I'll have the place all to myself for a couple of weeks. Where are you and Dad planning to go? Oh, to the sex dungeon down the street. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Her mama didn't say that. That's what her mama wanted to say, though. She want a little romance. Anyway, why, Katie, we'll go to that little resort in Florida where we always go every year.
Caliente.
The sex dungeon. Y'all gonna get y'all freak on, yeah. That's why you read that book, girl. Anyway, sorry. Okay, back to the story. Sorry, y'all. She gave Katie a look that said, "How could that ever have slipped your mind?" Every year, Katie echoed to herself. That's right. Why go anywhere else? By the way, Miss Shaw opened her purse. What she did next made Katie's jaw hang open. Take this credit card and buy yourself some clothes, dear. Go over to the mall one day after school and get some shoes too. You haven't brought anything new in a long time. Girl, this sounds like a shopping spree. Katie took the card with a mixture of joy and disbelief. Was she suddenly leading a charmed life? I know, right, girl? I wish somebody would give me their credit card. Scott, give me your credit card.
I did.
Oh. It's amazing, she thought. Today, guys flirt with me, and now my mother hands over her credit card? Is this for real? Oh, but dear, buy nice clothes. Nothing too wild. Miss Shaw paused for a moment to give Katie a slight nod of the head and a tilt of eyebrow. No gossip, the look said. But that sweater dress your Aunt Charlotte brought you is a trifle too clinging. Clinging. It's too tight, is what her mama trying to say. You look like you supposed to be down at the Swingers Club, the Dominatrix Club we going to in Florida in a couple of months. That's what her mama saying.
Okay.
That's what her mama saying. This is for real. All right. Okay, Mom. Katie felt like jumping up and down. Then a thought knocked the wind out of her sails. Oh, she had never followed styles very closely, and it wouldn't do to blow this opportunity and wind up with a closet full of clothes that were all wrong. I agree. Who else agree? I agree. Girl, don't just go out there recklessly spending with that card, girl. So I agree with Katie.
Okay.
That's what fashion magazines are for. Fashion magazines, Katie said aloud, startling her mother for the third time that afternoon. Katie was out the door in seconds and on her way to the drugstore to raid the magazine rack. For the moment, all thoughts of Heath were driven from her mind. It was much later that night, as Katie pored over fashion magazines, that the thought of Heath returned. I really don't think I'd be doing this if it wasn't for Heath, Katie secretly admitted to herself as she sat turning pages. I've never gotten excited about clothes or even imagined I'd have the nerve enough to wear some of the things I'm thinking of buying. Not that Katie had her eye on anything particularly risque. It was just that only yesterday she considered anything except a tailored blouse and skirt too daring for her to wear to school. But not now. Be there, Heath. Be there in my dreams. Katie prayed as she waited for sleep. But that night, Katie didn't meet Heath in her dreams. That night, she dreamed she was in school wearing a new dress that she bought. Okay. She thought she looked very glamorous. But as she walked down the hall, people stopped and stared. Take off that makeup, barked a gray-haired teacher wearing spectacles. Who do you think you are? Asked the girl with tiny piggy eyes. More and more faces crowded around her. Where's your brown skirt and sweater, Katie? You used to be such a sensible girl. Who told you to wear your hair that way? Everyone that walked by looked at her. Two girls in cheerleading uniforms giggled as they passed and went away whispering to each other. Katie felt herself redden with embarrassment. You see me, I'm blushing.
Oh yeah, you are.
I'm embarrassed because I'm Katie today.
Oh.
Now she was surrounded, the center of the mob of jeering accusers. She turned around and around as comments were hurled from all sides. Who do you think you are? Prom queen? Melody Ann Tippler and her sister Sadie Lou asked in eerie unison. Derisive laughter followed. How could you wear something so clinging? Where's your homework? You should be in the library. Shame on you. Katie turned faster and faster until she started getting dizzy. The mob had been closing in on Katie, but now they stopped. Something made them all stand still and put their hands to their mouths and gasp as they stared at her with wide, frightened eyes. Her accusers began bagging away, murmuring things like, "Oh, no, no, and don't come near me," and "horrible, horrible." When they got far enough away from Katie, they turned their backs on her and ran, shrieking and screaming. The sounds of terror reverberated in the empty hallway. Katie stood alone, facing a wall that was covered with mirrors. She saw her reflection, repeat itself dozens of times in the glass. Again and again, Katie now saw the reason for their fear. She wasn't wearing the maroon and black outfit she put on before she left the house. She was wearing a lacy white sundress, except for it wasn't white anymore. Katie was covered with blood from head to toe.
Whoa. What happened there?
We're going to end it right there. Oh my God.
Wow.
Well, y'all, You know how we end these things. So, we did our 2 chapters and we're going to end it here. Y'all know how we end these things. What stood out to you guys? Put it in the comment section. Scott, what stood out to you? Put it in the comment section. No, I'm kidding.
The very end.
What about the very end?
Her being in a white dress covered in blood.
Was it because it sounds like Carrie?
It does.
Uh-huh.
So, just to see what happens from here. Find out why she's covered in blood.
Well, yeah, but I think it's a dream. Remember, she went to bed and she was looking for Heath, but she didn't get Heath. Yeah, well, no, she went to bed. Remember, she looked at the magazines and went to sleep.
Right.
She was like, Heath, where are you? I love you. Oh my God, you're so sexy. Okay, that's it. Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, what stood out to me is this. A little bit of confidence go a long way, baby. Because just the day before, poor little Katie wasn't Katie was withdrawn and shy. Katie got a little battery called confidence in her back, and Katie was around there like, yes, I'm that girl. Yes, honey. You couldn't tell her she wasn't Beyonce. So if you go about doing anything, and this is a lesson I had to learn going through life, and I'm going to just throw it out here. If you go about doing anything, job interviews, meeting people, going somewhere alone, like going out to eat alone, meeting a significant other, all that kind of stuff, do it with confidence. Put in your mind, I'm already there, honey. Whatever it is, I already got the job. I already got the significant other. I already got this. And I think it'll come out a little bit better than if you are just like, oh, I can't do it, kind of thing. So go with confidence, baby. Do it with confidence, and you'll be surprised the difference. Look at Katie.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to end it there. Did you have anything else, Scott?
Nothing else.
Okay, guys. Well, we're going to end it here. As always, we enjoyed having you guys, and we hope you guys enjoy spending time with us. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Check out some other lives, some videos, some other shorts, all that good stuff if you feel like it. Make yourself at home on this channel. This is a fun channel. Yeah, it is. So from wherever we are, even if we're, running around school, being a hot girl, having a hot girl summer, to wherever you guys are, peace, love, and happiness. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Sunday Fun Day School and more of Dream Date. You never know what character I'm going to be. Okay, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Skinnamarink-a-dinky-dink. Bye, y'all.
Bye.